Hi, so welcome to this second tutorial on reading. As said by Bruce Lee, I'm not afraid of a person who knows 10,000 kicks, but I'm afraid of a person who knows one kick but practices it for 10,000 times. Now, when you talk about strategies of reading, when you meet different trainers with different backgrounds, they tell you many strategies of doing reading comprehension. Some people say do the questions first, some say do the reading first, some people have some kind of mixed techniques. After spending almost 10 years on fine tuning different strategies and finding out what works best for most of the participants, I have come up with one single strategy which I want you all to focus on and master before you go for any other strategy. All right, why am I such a big fan of it? Because it is so intuitive and so natural that you find it very easy to understand and apply. Now, disclaimer first, is it the best strategy or the only strategy? Not really. There are many strategies, and there can be some strategies which are better than this. But I want you to master this one first. When you take one thing at a time and master it, you can at least compare it with something better or something worse. But if you don't have any one standard, if you have no strategy at all, you will not be even be able to compare. Okay. Now, what exactly is this combing? The strategy which I am telling you is called as combing, and how is it applied to the passages? So I would straight away go to a passage and will show you there. Okay. So see what I've done is, and this is what you can always do, always open the passage in one tab and the questions in other tab. So it will help you to quickly jump through the passage to the questions and questions to the passage. Otherwise, scrolling takes a lot of time. All right. So this is the passage I'm talking about. Now in combing, what do we do? Next 5 minutes, we are going to do 2 to 3 questions wherein I'm going to explain and demonstrate what combing is all about. All right. So in combing, what do? You read one paragraph at a time, you understand that paragraph very very clearly, and then you do questions related to that. Okay, then you read the next paragraph, understand it thoroughly, do questions related to it. Then you read the third paragraph, fourth paragraph, like this, which means at a given point in time you're focusing only and only on one paragraph. Now, why am I such a big fan of this strategy? The reason I like this strategy very much is that you do not use your mind to store information, but to analyze information in this particular method. Most of the people use their minds like almiras, and this is because the schools and colleges, you know, say or teach you that your memory is equivalent to intelligence. So memory is not intelligence, application of your knowledge is intelligence. So read one paragraph at a time, understand it well, and answer questions related to that paragraph. Like this you can move on. 90% of the times the questions are in sequence. So another 5 minutes we are going to do some questions, and that's it. And I want you to apply this particular technique to all the questions that you do in future. Okay, so the first paragraph says some term might sound a little futuristic. So they're talking about some supposition that it sounds futuristic, like something from science fiction novel. But whenever you get these elephant words, pay attention to them. These words are called as elephant words, like but. Okay, so I'm highlighting it for you. But so now they are telling the fact, right? It might sound like this, but it is actually a field of study that concerns one of the oldest processes. So this is some study of old process on this planet. And there is this colon. I want you to pay attention to this colon also. Colon is also one of the elephant words or elephant punctuations, right? Whatever comes after colon is important because it is the explanation or expansion of something. What is it? Short-term rhythms of time and their effect on flora and fauna. So basically, this particular paragraph is telling us the definition of chronobiology. Chronobiology hota kya hai? So what is chronobiology? It is this. All this is what chronobiology is not. But what is written here? Short-term rhythms of time and their effect on fauna, effect on flora and fauna is what chronobiology is. Okay, so reading is an art, as you all can see, right? If you try to read a lot of stuff, it will be difficult for you to keep that in your mind. So pay attention to only a small part. So what this says is chronobiology might sound a little futuristic, like something from a novel, but it is actually a field of study which study old process. What is that old process? Short-term rhythms of time and their impact on flora and fauna. Right. So read the message, do not read the passage. This is again one technique which you will master. So chronobiology is short-term rhythms of time. Short-term rhythms means 10 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe 1 hour. Short-term rhythms of time and their effect on flora and fauna. Now let me go to the first question. The first question says chronobiology is the study of how living things have evolved over time. It's not about short term, it says over time. So is it the same which is written there? In the passage, it was short-term rhythms of time, short-term rhythms of time and their effect on flora and fauna. Whereas this one says it is how living things have evolved over time. Two opposite things, right? It's not short-term. So the answer is false. See how easy it is to get answers to questions when you use combing. Okay, now the second question says rise and fall of sea levels. I don't know anything about rise and fall of sea levels as of now, so I'll read the second paragraph now. It says this can take many forms. Marine life, for example, is influenced by tidal patterns. Rise and fall. Sorry, the question was rise and fall of sea levels affect how sea creatures behave. Now, see, again, there are some key things. Sea creatures, what do you mean by sea creatures? Means the dwellers of the sea, जो समुद्र में रहने वाले प्राणी हैं, मछलियां वगैरह, right? It is equivalent to marine life. Can you all see how the information is paraphrased? और जब आप small amount of information पे focus करते हैं, so it becomes very easy for you to remember, right? This can take many forms. Marine life means sea creatures, for example, is influenced by tidal patterns. Now, what do you mean by tidal patterns? Tidal patterns, tide means high tide, low tide. If you have gone to any of the beaches, say Juhu or some place, you'll see that there are tides. Sometimes when it is high tide, the waves touch the shore. When it is low tide, it is receding and it goes back. So it says it can take many form. And uh, marine life means sea creatures are affected by tidal pattern, which means rise and fall of sea levels, right? Rise and fall. So the answer for this one, I have a very strong evidence for it. I'll say it is true, right? Now let's go to the next question. See, it is very easy when you apply this technique, and you all can see questions are in sequence. ठीक है, तो बहुत सारे टेक्निक्स पे ध्यान मत दीजिए, एक टेक्निक को मास्टर कीजिए. And what is the technique I'm telling? I'm telling you to master this technique of combing. What is combing? Read one paragraph at a time and answer questions related to that paragraph. Then forget it. Go to the next paragraph, read it, understand it, answer questions related to it, forget it. Like this, your mind would always be very clean. It would not have a lot of redundant information. Like, for example, in this case, when I've answered questions related to first paragraph, I can pretty much forget it. Right? I can now focus on the second paragraph and I can go about reading it and answering questions based on that. Great. So let's move on to the next one. The next question said most animals. Now, whenever you get these elephant words, something related to number, something related to proportion, highlight it. Okay? Because sometimes these numbers are tricky and this you will learn here. Most animals are active during the daytime. Let's try to understand the question clearly. What do you mean by most? So most means if you have 100 out of 100, at least 51 would constitute most, right? Anything less than 51 would be something dicey. So when you say most, it has to be more than 51. All right. Now, most animals are active during the daytime is what this particular statement says. Let me go to the paragraph and see what does the paragraph say. It says animals are active or inactive based on position of sun, which means I'm at the right place. Now look at this word. This is also a word related to numbers. So I'll highlight it and I'll compare it with most. There the word used is most in the question, and here it says numerous creatures are largely diurnal. Now, again, a technical term, and I don't understand what is diurnal, so I'll read it. It says they are likely to come out during the hours of sunlight. So, numerous creatures are diurnal. Now, see, so there they were saying most creatures, here it is saying numerous. So, I can say that there is some kind of correlation between most and numerous, but the question is numerous and most exactly the same? So, let's try to analyze this. Well, numerous means what? Out of 10, if there are 4, I can say numerous, right? Numerous means many. Does that make sense? Out of 100, if there are 20, let's say there are 100 students preparing for IELTS and 20 students prepare with me. Can I say numerous students prepare with me? If 20 students are there, I can say numerous, right? But out of 100, if there are 20, can I say most? No, I can't, right? Most I can say only when the count is more than 51 or 50, right? 50 or more than 50, I can say most. So let's say there are 60 students who learn IELTS from me. Okay. So they prepare IELTS with me. There are 60 students. Can I say numerous? Well, I can still say numerous, right? It is 60. Can I say most? I can say most also when it is 60. Do you get this? So when it is 10, I can say numerous, but I cannot say most. When it is 60, I can say numerous, I can say most also. In some situations, numerous and most are different. In some situations, numerous and most are same, right? So I don't have a conclusive answer. When the evidence is not pakka, what will you say? True, false, or not given? When you're not sure, you'll say not given. The evidence is not 100%. Now see, you can do this type of analysis only when there is small amount of information in your mind. And that's why I'm such a big fan of combing. Rather than doing any other technique, master this technique, and then you can go for other techniques based on your level of maturity, amount of practice that you have done. Some people, for example, straight away read the questions and answer them. They are super. I've seen such people also. They finish the whole test of 1 hour in like 40, 30 minutes and they get like full marks. But then there are stages to it, and there is a sequence that you have to follow. So I don't want you to go for something which is not according to your own stage. It is good to go step by step, right? So this is one technique called as combing, and I've seen combing working fantastically well with most of the types of passages and most of the types of questions. What is combing? To just summarize this whole discussion once again, read one paragraph at a time, understand it thoroughly, and answer questions related to that paragraph only. Then forget that paragraph. So even if I forget this paragraph now, I can then go to the next paragraph and answer questions. So read one paragraph, understand it, answer questions related to it, forget it. Then next paragraph, answer questions related to it, understand it, forget it. Like this, you will find that your passages keep on going shorter and shorter. Since I have done these 2 paragraphs, I don't need to focus on them because whatever questions they could answer, I've already got them. So this is how you focus, and this is how you develop your skills. This is how you get very good marks in reading. Rather than reading the whole paragraph or reading all the questions, read one paragraph at a time, answer questions related to it, and like this, keep moving on. And I want you to practice this particular strategy thoroughly before you move on or you work on any other strategy. What people generally do is they start focusing on a lot of strategies, so they get a lot of information but there is no transformation. In order to have some transformation, you have to focus on one thing at a time and work on that thoroughly, right? So please work only and only on this particular strategy called as combing, where you read small portions of the passage at a time and answer questions related to it. I hope this will be very useful to you and it will help you to score high in the IELTS test. All the best to you. Thank you so much.